Okay, it's Thursday, May 25th. This is an end of the day SPY recap, and today we end up with a two-up bar that has a kind of an indecision doji look to it, a little bit red, but certainly stayed above the midpoint of the prior day. I discussed pre-market, and there was a morning update, some of my thoughts about why this was like a fair value gap up in this area, and we might be finding a little pause area up here, but also that we were kind of above the midpoint of the, but even if we did pause and come down, we're still above the midpoint of the prior day. So it's a little tricky in terms of getting short. And it was more, if this day ended up kind of like this, where it pauses, then we can look for a two down day tomorrow to be an actionable signal. Can't guarantee we're going to get it. We're going to watch price action. And if we're going to head higher out of this indecision day, then yeah, I could see this bar, and maybe Friday's bar kind of trying to broaden out this big red bar down here, if we can really get up. But there's still a little room to fill that gap, so we can head up here and fail and then come to the midway point of that bar. It's all going to depend on what happens tomorrow. In terms of today, first of all, we gapped up big with all kinds of earnings news, especially Nvidia stock, and then immediately went lower. I shot a morning update video kind of right when price was right around here, discussing how, we were in a situation where we were still above the midpoint of the prior day. And, when we came down here, had one push down early in the morning, rose up. This was the secondary push. I said if that kind of either takes out the lows or doesn't quite get there and we get the green reversal, that could be a buy signal. As it turns out, that was, within 15 minutes, that was kind of a buy signal here, and it worked all the way up to take out the, high of the day, pre-market, intraday high and the pre-market highs. And then you can see that's an area where that was kind of a target, and we just kind of bounced around there. So that was kind of an opportunity. Again, when you have a gap up like that, a lot of times if you don't get the immediate continuation and you're above the midpoint of the prior day, knowing that a direction, at least based on my consistent way of looking at market structure, if you get one push down, pause, maybe, assuming a gap up and head lower, and you get one push down, pause, either you're going to get a second push down, and that could be a buy within the overall structure that you're in a bigger uptrend, or you can come down here and get kind of a failure to take out the low and get a kind of a 1, 2, 3 kind of buy, and then you kind of see if you attack the intraday highs on that, because sometimes when a market, it has exhaustion, either a few days up or a big gap up, it needs to kind of pull back a little bit. And in this case, you can see here, it took out these stops right here. The pre-market range is between the blue lines, but this bottom blue line, which kind of falls off the chart at the end of the day, had to do more with after hours session, and then that combined with the, when the market opened up in the evening. So you can really see the evening market here had a low right here, and we just come down and take out the stops, and that's all that first move really wanted to do. The low of the day was on bar 4, and then we essentially went up for the rest of the day. So in an uptrend, sometimes you got to pull back first, and that's kind of the way I sometimes look at those. Gap up, 1, 2 pushes down, and then be ready to buy that if you don't get the buy right out of the gates going above the pre-market high. So that's what developed today. In terms of tomorrow and to end the week, again, if we can get a 2 down day, that's an actionable signal to start testing those lows. If we head up, then, I would be comfortable seeing if we reach that target, which is kind of 3 bars broadening above this 1 bar, and then taking this weekly bar, which technically is a 2 down. It's almost an inside bar if you really think about it. And if we go up there, then this will end up being a nice hammer bar going into next week. But if you really look at, again, since we came up here and hit a key inflection point, I've been talking about that 418 area, and yeah, you can get a reversal here. But if this weekly chart just ends up being like an inside kind of bar, and then into next week, we'll see what happens after the holiday. This could just be kind of coming up, taking out a key area, big pause on the weekly chart for a little while, and then eventually breaking out to the upside towards that upper target up here to the 430 area. So that's always possible. I'm still trying to judge in the bigger picture after coming up here and taking out a key target. This was on the daily chart, this breakout. Even though we pulled back for kind of 2 days pretty strongly, that could just be sort of, anyone who bought the breakout, they're being shaken out, and eventually we'll pause in here and head higher. If we can get above there and really don't, fall back through this range, that's kind of what's developing. So that's going to unfold on the weekly chart, but we'll use some of the daily signals to see if we can break out of this weekly chart, either up or down. So that's what's unfolding there. So anyway, today a little, confusion one way or the other. We're in the weekly red area, but we gapped up, so we had we're above the midpoint of the prior day. So you had a little bit of conflict, but it, as discussed in some of those earlier videos, shouldn't have gotten hurt too bad. And there were actually a lot of stocks on this gap up that provided good upside. I could look around and pick many stocks that you could have traded today, but especially for the morning trade to the upside. So anyway, let's see how things end the week tomorrow.